Monsieur Poirot.
His menu seems to overemphasize meat features. The butcher and Fingerprint has been even more temperamental than usual today. Worse than avalanches and murder, beyond potential. Why does it not surprise me? What do you know of Charles's movements last night?
And that is everything I have discovered so far.
We progress, mademoiselle. Now, let us see what we can learn.
The timetable is very complete now.
Oh, yes, it is essential to the understanding of the crime. Study it carefully.
We have many alibis we can use to eliminate suspects.
Yes, too many. Compare them all. Look for discrepancies. We must be certain that they do not leak the water.
I believe I have collected all the passports.
Très bien, mademoiselle. You have done well.
I think I have secured all the fingerprints.
Très bien, mademoiselle. You have done well.
I believe I have compared the footprint cast to all the men's shoes.
Très bien, mademoiselle. Oh, you have done well.
Madame Hubbard heard a woman in Monsieur Ratchett's room.
Wait, and about the time you heard the noise and saw the woman in the scarlet kimono. So, does a woman speak to Monsieur Ratchett, murder him, drop a handkerchief with the letter H, then scurry off down the corridor in a scarlet kimono? Or does Madame Hubbard hallucinate a woman's voice as well as the man in her room?
The valet masterman says Ratchett took less than his normal sleeping draught.
So, instead of a comatose Ratchett who would not struggle when the knife began its work, we have a Ratchett who might cry out.
But after the cry, I heard Ratchett tell Michel that there was nothing wrong. Monsieur McQueen saw the woman in the scarlet kimono.
But not enough to identify her. And he says he saw Michel coming from the direction of the salon car, or at least someone in an attendant's uniform.
Colonel Arbuthnot saw the attendant and thinks he caught the scent of a woman.
Ah, the scent of a woman. You have found a romantic streak I would not have suspected one so stolid to possess.
Hildegard Schmidt saw an attendant leaving a compartment.
Oui, one of the middle rooms. Either Ratchett's or Madame Hubbard's. And his description? No, it is not Pierre Michel, this small dark man with a moustache who speaks in the high voice.
No, but he matches the description Ratchett gave Hardman of his enemy. Both Madame Hubbard and Mademoiselle Olsen confirm the connecting door was locked.
An attendant's pass key opens even connecting doors, I think, so I am not so baffled by that locked door.
Colonel Arbuthnot saw Monsieur Hardman watching the corridor from his room.
Monsieur Hardman's door opens to the right, so unfortunately he could see little of the corridor, but he would have seen if anyone entered the Calais coach from the Athens-Paris coach.
The footprints in the snow belong to Foscarelli.
And his fingerprints are found upon the windowsill of Monsieur Ratchett's room. Yet he does not smoke a pipe, nor I think does the cambric handkerchief with the letter H belong to him.
The steak knife I found by the cliff was clean, no blood or fingerprints.
It is a nuisance, that knife. On the face of it, it is of no importance. And yet, someone has taken the trouble to try and fling it over a cliff.
Hardman's actions were very suspicious.
And the key he discovers in Michel's clothing that opens the door to the security room in the baggage car is suspicious as well.
McQueen is the son of the district attorney involved in the Armstrong case.
Pardon, district attorney? What is that?
Some sort of police official, I believe. Princess Dragomirov was Sonia Armstrong's godmother.
Oui, it is coincidence, or something more. Merci, mademoiselle. Unfortunately, the report it is not yet complete. We are now armed with much more additional knowledge than before. Continue the investigation, and do not be afraid to go over the ground you have already covered.
The key worked. I won't do that. What's all this? It's a makeshift bed, but who could possibly be using it? Crime et punition, Géographie européenne, Introduction à la science. Interesting selection.
Quite interesting.
A fingerprint. I obtained a clear print and have filed it. It looks like someone had a meal here recently. It looks like someone had a meal here recently. It looks like someone had a meal here recently. I'd better put the lid back on for appearances. These prints don't match. 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 I think I heard a click. It's open. I'll put this into my scrapbook so I can take a closer look at it later.
Quite interesting.
There's a visible fingerprint here. I obtained a clear print and have filed it. I'd better put the lid back on for appearances. This crate looks like it was once secured with a padlock. It's empty now. This crate looks like it was once secured with a padlock. It's empty now. The prints match. It has a fingerprint on it. I obtained a clear print and have filed it. A fingerprint. I obtained a clear print and have filed it. The prints match. The prints match.
Formidable.
I obtained a clear print and have filed it. The prints match.
Leave me be.
I do want to help you in your investigation. Could we speak later?
I don't think he's in the mood for conversation.
Mademoiselle, I implore you to give me a moment's peace.
Come back later, Miss Marceau. We can chat then.
Excuse me, please, mademoiselle. I will be happy to talk to you in a little while.
I promise you I will talk to you later.
I'm not in the mood to talk at the moment.
If I think of anything else that might help your inquiries, I promise to let you know.
I can't make heads or tails of the thing.
Fräulein, if I recall anything else, I will tell you. All the talk wears me out so. Could we speak later?
Ah, your return. Is there more to report to me, mademoiselle?
His menu seems to overemphasize meat details. The butcher, Ratchett, tries to keep a more continental than usual today. Worse than avalanches and murder, the unprecedented. Why does it not depend on what you know of Price's movements last night?
And that is everything I have discovered so far.
We progress, mademoiselle. Now, let us see what we can learn.
We have not one, but 2 additional attendants' uniforms.
2 uniforms, 2 knives, possibly 2 murderers, one right-handed and one left. Can they have had the same plan to sneak about disguised as attendants in order to murder Monsieur Ratchett in his sleep? What a moment that must have been as they encounter one another over the body. It is like a scene from a Marx Brothers movie, that.
Someone was hiding in Ratchett's crate.
A valuable statue is stolen. And then the thief decides to do what? Well, masquerade as the statue? To escape detection?
The missing statue is another motive for murder.
Why not? We have the possible revenge from the Armstrong kidnapping, a possible assassin from Ratchett's underworld past. So why not a thief who kills Ratchett to cover up his crime? If we find 9 more motives for the murder and 10 more knives, we at least will have explained all those stab wounds.
The books in Ratchett's crate were all references of use to the murderer.
Explain, mademoiselle.
Géographie Européenne would be helpful in following the route of the train and choosing the best spot for murder. Introduction à la Science could give information about sleeping draughts.
And Crime and Punition by Dostoevsky? Was the guilty conscience of the killer haunting him as it did the unfortunate Raskolnikov?
I have all the pieces. All that remains is for me to assemble them properly.
Très bien, mademoiselle. You have done well. Merci, mademoiselle. Unfortunately, the report it is not yet complete. We are now armed with much more additional knowledge than before. Continue the investigation, and do not be afraid to go over the ground you have already covered.
I won't find anything else in there. I've already searched it thoroughly. I won't find anything else in there. I've already searched it thoroughly.
That monster on this very train, and Poirot as well. Oh, we are but puppets of destiny.
I won't find anything else in there. I've already searched it thoroughly. Nothing else to see in there. I've already searched it thoroughly.
This will mean so much trouble for the Express.
I won't find anything else in there. Nothing else to see in there. I've already searched it thoroughly. The time for talk has passed. There's no power. I'll need to come up with a way to provide it with electricity.
Pardon me, Señorita Marceau, but I cannot speak to you now.
Continue the investigation and do not be afraid to go over the ground you have already covered.
Those don't work together.
Wait, that is how Poirot would have done it.
I obtained a clear print and have filed it. The prints match.
Continue the investigation and do not be afraid to go over the ground you have already covered. Wait, that is how Poirot would have done it.
I obtained a clear print and have filed it. The prints match.
Ah, your return. Is there more to report to me, mademoiselle?
His menu seems to overemphasize meat features. The butcher, speaking, sliced and even more continental than usual today. Worse than avalanches and murder. Beyond potatoes. Why does it not surprise me? What do you know of Slice's movements last night?
And that is everything I have discovered so far.
We progress, mademoiselle. Now, let us see what we can learn.
Matteo's fingerprints are on the padlock from the door of the hut.
That padlock interests me.
Why would Matteo have a key to a shepherd's hut in the middle of the mountains, near the spot where he would have no idea the train would be stopped by an avalanche? Monsieur Poirot, you don't think the avalanche was caused deliberately?
No, mademoiselle, I do not. There are enough fantastic elements to this crime already, without introducing the saboteurs.
But then how could his fingerprints come to be on that hut?
They were not on the hut, but on the padlock. Further investigation appears necessary on this point.
The padlock was taken when Matteo's ham radio equipment was sabotaged.
Someone has gone to great trouble, it seems, to direct suspicion upon this young man. Yet how can he have reached the Calais coach unobserved? Merci, mademoiselle. Unfortunately, the report it is not yet complete. We are now armed with much more additional knowledge than before. Continue the investigation, and do not be afraid to go over the ground you have already covered. Wait, that is how Poirot would have done it.
I obtained a clear print and have filed it.
Ah, your return. Is there more to report to me, mademoiselle?
His menu seems to overemphasize meat details. The butcher, eating, sliced and even more continental than usual today. Worse than avalanches and murder, beyond proceedings. Why does it not surprise me? What more slices movement last night?
And that is everything I have discovered so far.
We progress, mademoiselle. Now, let us see what we can learn.
The stiletto I found in the hut must be the murder weapon.
That would seem to be the obvious conclusion. It is the weapon of the underworld assassin, to be sure. And with fingerprints which match no one's aboard this train. And so we advance in our investigations. It is obvious that our fellow passengers have not been entirely forthright. You have still not had the opportunity to search all of the compartments, and there are other mysteries still to be explained.